Hello everybody and welcome back to EPIC38. We're into our last match of the day as we move to the lower bracket finals, consolation match, whatever you want to call it. The one that will decide who will be taking on the opportunity in tomorrow morning's games to try and make the grand finals. I'm the Eternal J. I'm joined by Zaya, royalty himself, according to his own naming schemes here. And we're going to take a look at eMasters versus EPIC38 as our match here in the lower bracket. And two teams, of course, that have come from the pot 1 seeding, so obviously it's going to be a banger just by default.
Yeah.
But for one team, it's going to be heartbreak because this is as far as they'll go.
This is as far as they will go. I mean, I've casted a lot for Raptors in the past. I know a lot about their team. Obviously, picking it up from X-Rival, who unfortunately dropped this amazing team. They've just gotten into Advanced ESEA as well. Pretty big for them. They've never been there before. So it's one of them games. You know, eMasters are a very good team themselves. I think Raptors can do it. I personally do, but at the same time, eMasters has been such a brilliant team, very strong on pretty much every map. Raptors have told me themselves they're not too strong in their competitive pool as well. So yeah, I mean, whatever happens, happens. Yeah,
well, we'll definitely find out what's going to happen in a short few moments' time. Both sides, of course, have been coming in from the lower bracket, having been eliminated from the upper bracket in the semi-final positions. It was Coalesce that knocked eMasters down, and over on the Raptor side, it was Vipero. That, of course, managed to knock them down in their lower bracket. Right now, we do have Vipero waiting for the victory of this matchup in the consolation in the lower bracket final. So it might potentially be a rematch for the EPIC38. They get that chance to try and turn around that 2-0. But again, both teams kind of knocked out by our biggest squads. They just beat Vitalize and Royals respectively as well during their lower bracket semis, and that's sort of, again, like pot 1s versus pot 2s, very close affairs in those kind of matches, and a lot of excitement again around these two teams to make their way forward in this one. Is there any particular favourite in your mind just coming into this one by default?
Well, in my mind, obviously, because I've been casting for Raptors for quite a while, I want Raptors to win it, but at the same time, looking at the way that eMasters play, looking at the way and their players and how good they are and stuff, Husky is absolutely insane. He's phenomenal. He's been pretty much their top frag throughout this entire tournament so far. I think eMasters are probably going to steal it away, in my opinion, but you know, from heart, I want Raptors to win it, just from heart.
I mean, look, at the end of the day, I have a lot of faith in eMasters at the moment because we got to see them in the upper bracket semi-finals. And me and Jamba, we were seeing, obviously, Husky doing great work. Dexter's AWPing consistency definitely held together up until the very end of that particular series. But Mr. Hoy was the standout guy in the upper bracket, and he had an absolutely monstrous overpass that I think if they can translate that over in the combination with the AWP and Husky's positions, then right now they've got a core 3 players that could really do a lot of the heavy lifting right now for this side against the EPIC38 side. For me, I look at them and I sort of, again, I'm on a similar boat right now. I'm looking at the eMasters thinking that their run in the semi-finals especially was just a lot stronger in that upper bracket by comparison to what EPIC38 did.
Yeah, it was. I mean, for me though, EPIC38, they're a good bunch. You know, they're a good group of people. I think obviously WFN on his AWP hasn't had the greatest tournament so far, but usually standout point. He's extremely exceptional. He's a very good player, and a couple of the other players for Raptors as well. You know, extremely good players. But I think eMasters will probably steal this one away, especially depending on the maps and the bans and stuff. I know for a fact that Raptors always ban Mirage first, and that, you know, it's easier said than done.
Yeah,
I think eMasters are probably definitely going to steal this away.
Yeah, I'm sort of riding that hype train. I'm kind of hoping it's going to be a 3-map affair because I think it could go down that particular route. In terms of, like, you know, head-to-head comparisons, you mentioned Whiffin obviously not having the greatest spell of AWPing over the course of this tournament. So in that sort of head-to-head between the two AWPers of the sides, it probably means that we're looking at a lot more consistency again for the eMasters with that better basis of star players, which, look, Atrox is pretty good as well over on this at EPIC38 side. They've got some potential elements in that sort of sense, but I do feel like eMasters just shown us a lot more this weekend.
Yeah, I think so too. I mean, eMasters, always a brilliant side. You know, Mr. Hoy, as you said, very stand-up player, very amazing. On the, for example, I saw him pick up the M4, saw him pick up the AWP. He's just versatile. Do whatever he needs to do to win the rounds for eMasters. EPIC38, relatively similar, but they do have just mainly WFN, who's just their main AWPer. Nobody else in that team are really that great at AWPing, and you've seen them pick it up a few times. It's not gone too well. It's not gone too well this tournament, even for WFN, and I think that could definitely be one of the reasons as to why they lose this event in general, just because of the actual skills and the versatility of all 4 of the different players.
Yeah, again, a lot of things going the way of eMasters, I think, is what we're kind of looking at in this sort of sense. So for me, for the EPIC38, one of the key areas they're going to have to sort of try and take an advantage in probably has got to be the veto in this particular case, right? So that's sort of where this best of 3 is really going to potentially be won and lost by those Arctic Raptors. I'm being told we should be able to get those on screen in a short few moments' time. So any particular thoughts as how you think that veto could go down?
I mean, 100% for Raptors, they usually definitely ban Mirage. Mirage is just a no-go for them. I don't think they've really packed that much on it, you know, not enough scrims, not enough pugs, all that sort of stuff. So I think Mirage is definitely there to go. Now, in my standpoint, Raptors know that eMasters are very strong on Anubis, and they'd want that to go as well. So I reckon that's going to be their ban. For eMasters, however, they know that Raptors are very good in Vertigo, and a couple of other maps are like Ancient. So might see those go too.
Let's see whether that's going to be the case.
Let's take a
Veto's
look.
coming up on screen, as I'm being told right about now. Let's have a look what Arctic Raptors and eMasters are going to be playing out. There's Mirage and Nuke being taken out instead. Ancient, Inferno, and Overpass. Of course, it's Overpass to be the final map in the best-of-3 series. You mentioned Anubis could have been a default ban there, and Arctic will get rid of it towards the tail end of the veto. There was an opportunity we could have seen that played out. But
Yeah.
Ancient and Inferno is picked by eMasters and Arctic Raptors respectively here.
Ancient for Raptors actually is a very strong map from them. 3 of their maps that are very good at are definitely Vertigo, Overpass, Inferno, and Ancient. So that's 4, my bad. But I'm going to take away the what was it? Sorry, the Nuke one, because they don't have a very strong Nuke at all. Overpass, I've seen them play Overpass quite a few times, especially throughout the course of this tournament. They've played quite well on it, to be fair. Their default strats are good. The way they play on CT side is pretty good as well. It's just overall strong, but I don't think it's going to be as strong and overpowering as eMasters' offense on that T side, just because of how strong their players are. The 1v1 potential, the aim, duels, and the 1v1s that they will be taking during that game, it's not going to be as strong as Raptors in this case. Ancient as well. Raptors do actually have very good strats, but once again, it's going to be about the 1v1 duels at the end of the day. You can't win everything with smokes and util. You're going to have to take those 1v1s at some point in time, and I don't think Raptors will be able to overcome in those 1v1 situations. Inferno, very good map for Arctic Raptors. I've watched them play it quite a lot of times, and definitely probably their better pick out of all of these maps that are in the map pool at the moment.
Yeah, we did get to see 2 of these 3 maps from the eMasters side during their semi-final matchup. It was Ancient and Overpass that actually got played out there, and they had some extremely strong T-sides on those 2 map-ups. So I'm excited to see whether or not they'll be able to replicate right here against the Arctic Raptors cap, just on the basis of what they've been able to do against Coalesce. They pushed them all the way. They took a map off of them over on that Ancient especially. So with the idea that now the situation's been flipped, where in that previous game they were kind of underdogs in that sort of best-of-3,
yeah,
now being the favourites in this match against the Arctic Raptors, I do feel like they're repeating those performances against a team like Coalesce here in this particular best-of-3. That's going to mean nothing but positives for eMasters.
Raptors also did, as we haven't mentioned yet, they did play against Vipero in their last best-of-3, which they did lose, and the last map was Overpass. They weren't that strong on that. They lost that 16-10. Their CT side was their last side, was their half. To win out that half, maybe, you know, try to get into the 3rd map, but instead they just got absolutely demolished, destroyed. And as you said as well, their T side, eMasters T side, is absolutely phenomenal. There's practically no breaks in their system, no flaws. The way they trade is really good. Their 1v1 duels is also going to be extremely overpowering. Therefore, I think Raptors definitely could get 2-0'd here, but if they are able to bring it back on Inferno, then Overpass is looking a bit shaky for Raptors. eMasters, we've seen them on this Overpass map, and it's been good for them, and I reckon it will be good again. Well,
just to throw a little bit of devil's advocate into the mix there, because Overpass is such a well-played map in the entire UK scene that it does carry its risks, of course, if you pick into it. So I'm glad it's, first of all, the 3rd map in the best-of-3 series. But even in spite of what eMasters were able to do against Coalesce in the upper bracket, I do still look at this 3rd map saying that it could still be a coin toss if it gets pushed that far. Right? This whole series could hinge on the idea of the respective teams, of course, just holding their map picks and seeing where it goes from there after the fact. I think that if we do get pushed to a 3rd map, then Arctic Raptors will stand a very, very good chance at least pulling some damage off against this eMasters side, even though eMasters probably will still be the favourites in that map anyway.
Yeah, I think so too. Arctic Raptors, they're a good side on paper as well. eMasters are a good side on paper and in their performances. But all of these maps actually could be 50-50 chance. You know, the Ancient map could be 50-50 because Raptors have been scrimming a lot, pracking a lot, playing a lot of ESCA games on that map as well as of course Inferno. Inferno's Arctic Raptors pick. They've been really good on that, really strong on that too. And then you have Overpass, as you said yourself, it's a coin toss really. It's one of those things where everyone knows how to play that map. It's quite a default map.
Indeed. Well, the knife round is almost ready to go live here. So Arctic Raptors and eMasters will be getting into this one and to decide the choice of side very quickly before we get into the actual game itself, of course. CT side is always the meta at the moment, and certainly for Ancient, it's always historically been a CT-sided map since the days of its introduction into the competitive pool. Actually, this is the pistol going live. I've been given wrong information, so never mind. We're going straight into this. Arctic on the defensive, Weapon with 2 decent picks back, all sorts of control to the 4-on-2 as one trade is found by Husky. The shot's back for Aatrox, gets him to fall, and Dexter is all alone in this situation. Bomb in the open, challenging Ducky, at least gets that first pick, so that's something to gain here on the T-side line, but smokes are fading. They know exactly where he is. The crossfires are locked, and he just can't seem to get to that bomb. He can't seem to get onto the site itself. He can't find an angle, so it's clutch, less than likely, and he gets taken down for the pistol gain on the CT side.
It was as you said right at the start, it was all about the 1v1 duels and all that. WFN is actually overpowering it in that round itself. I've seen him before in these 1v1s. He's not usually good for them, obviously playing in that angle right to the back of site. You need to clear that. It wasn't cleared soon enough, and when it was, WFN's able to take those 1v1s and win the round, I think, for Arctic Raptors. A very good defense indeed, and as you said, yeah, we did get a bit of wrong information on that knife round, and it was Raptors going to win that one out. Aatrox now running it down mid. Sorry, Emir running it down mid as Aatrox is there to find the pick. Ducky as well, doing some damage of his own with that MP9. WFN with that M4. Definitely one of his least favourite weapons as he AWPs quite a lot of the time. Dexter getting quite a lot of space towards his A bomb site now, and he's pretty much out. He is out. All he's got to do is go through Temple, maybe try and find the flank, because nobody is playing here. The bomb has been dropped all the way in that middle position. It looks like he's going to be going up towards House.
Do his best to do whatever he can, but with this Glock in play, I mean, maybe he could recover this weapon out here in this Temple position.
This could be really timing.
Just the Hoy caught in the end of it, so best Dexter can do is try flank, and again, the firepower isn't there. It was always going to be a difficult affair for eMasters to do much in that kind of a round, so 2-0 for the Arctic side, at least evading the majority of the damage being done by the SMGs. And the guns can return very quickly for the T side.
Our first gun round of the match here. Arctic Raptors versus eMasters. It's always going to be a very tricky one. It's a 50-50 coin toss, really. I think the way that they've been playing so far, obviously we've only seen 2 rounds, but their defense on pistol round, they've read it almost perfectly with 3 players active towards that site. And now also winning him through cave, but Zodi with the MP9, taking him out, taking him down the trade. Very good from Mr. Hoy, a standout player for eMasters in this event so far. WFN creeping and crawling back, trying to get his way and trying to get his space. And there you go, he's taking the space, taking the pick along with it. Mr. Hoy falls, and it's advantage now to Arctic Raptors as Ducky also looks to get a bit more, and also on the scoreboard for him with his team.
2-man advantage for the Arctic side, and eMasters are kind of locked out of the A site as well. 2 players with the crossfire and everything. Aatrox and Ducky just holding their nerve. The Molotov sent from Husky indicating exactly where he is, so they'll just hold on until they absolutely have to take the strike back. A smoke also comes in, and the second man. Footsteps have been made by Dexter. No further utility from these 2 players, so they're going to take these fights completely dry. Dexter is going to drop the bomb if he doesn't go falling, and indeed Ducky catches him off, lines up a spray back, and Husky will drive him away for the time being. But now with the information gained to the CT side, it should now just be a quick face and pick. 1 kill does get returned by eMasters, but nothing major in the grand scale of things. 3 AK save for 3-0 to the Arctic Raptors side.
3-0, that's not how we thought it was going to go. This is eMasters' pick. They still have a lot of time to recover their ground and recover their mental, recover whatever it is they need to. eMasters aren't doing so hot at the moment. Their first buy round obviously is never going to go, well, it could go that way, but Raptors are going to be able to take the swing of things. Even with the MP9s, even with the SMGs and stuff, they're still able to overpower eMasters. WFN with a brilliant pick there, going to be gaining control towards Cave, and I'm pretty sure they're a bit fed up with that as they've now taken Cave all to themselves as Zodi holds off this angle, smoke in hand, ready just to throw that down upon any contact that will be shown, and Dexter's about to show his face right here, but nope, the timing is good, the timing is great. Now whipping out the M4. It's going to be a double retake here. They have taken a bit of space towards this cave area, and it is Zodi trying to get spammed down a little bit of it's good, tagging up Mr. Hoy just that little bit. Of course, the upgraded pistol is not really a brilliant match against these M4s, but we've seen quite a few rounds this event and a lot of other times in general where pistols have actually overpowered the rifles, and this could be another way, this could be another thing to go. It's been played very slowly as all the players are starting to creep up on towards this B bomb site. Mr. Hoy's going to be peeking his head around the corner, wary of that angle of the pistol round, which WFN was playing right at the start. Synergy also just good for 1, maybe lining up 1. There's 1 already. Zodi there right behind him, taking the trades, and the trades are very, very good from Raptors, but this could get a bit messy. Never mind, Dexter was shut down straight after getting 2 picks with that Tech 9. Very good flash there, and WFN shutting down the rampage, and that is 4-0 on the board for Raptors.
In that kind of a round, you have to take the silver linings, really, for the eMasters there, and they took one of the AKs out of play, so that's a little bit less firepower for Arctic Raptors. Not major economical damage being done, but given the circumstances, you take those. You take those small Ws here and there. For the eMasters, just quickly catapulting back into the rifle round. Of course, AWPs in for Dexter. Similar story for Whiffen, and we're talking about that AWP v AWP battle during the pre-match, so let's let's see whether or not this will come into effect. They're both playing out towards main, so Whiffin may have to face his foe directly, but eMasters being a bit careful about who is going to peek first. It will be Dexter to peek that corner. Whiffin lands him directly to the skull.
Wow, I mean, we've seen WFN playing these different angles a lot of the time, and so most of the time it's not really good for those picks, especially up against, wow, one of the better AWPers you've seen this tournament so far. Dexter just taking it into his stride and right into the crosshair of WFN is going to be able to take his head straight off, and now look at the control that's being gained by Mr. Hoy. You can see he's just walking his way up, no sound cues just yet, a little bit of alert going on, and it will be Zodi and Synergy to try and regain this B main control. As a matter of fact, the players from eMasters are starting to go back towards B. Oh god, this is bad. Oh no, Mr. Hoy, the ground he's taken is actually impeccable. I don't think they know that maybe Synergy is still lurking there, just waiting and biding his time. Of course they don't need to know, they're going to get the site for free.
He's pushed all the way towards lane. They slow ward their way into cave. Emmy does catch off that pick and donut. Meanwhile, evade the second CT as the bomb will get planted. And Mr. Hoy is so far pushed up. Zodi's ready for it. Aatrox just find that trade back in mid. So the advantage stays with the Arctic Raptors for now. A 4-on-3 for them. Mr. Hoy, awkward spray. Zodi with the pick. Husky and Moshi now last two players that remain. One out towards long and one stuck at cave. Zodi caught off. Perfect burst to the headshot. Advantage reduced now to a 2-on-2. And maybe Synergy might drop next. Husky indeed bursts back, gets the headshot, and Whiffin wants nothing to do with this. The AWP not great for the retake, even in the 1-on-2. It's best to go for the save, and eMasters will get there first.
Synergy did grab quite a lot of space there as the rest of the Raptors side were able to, you know, take their leave and gave Mr. Hoy quite a lot of space, but Synergy not able to convert too much. Husky left on 1 HP from the bomb there. Never expecting to die in that situation, lose a weapon 4-1. Another pause will come out as well. WFN with the AWP so far, we've only seen, what was it, one shot, and it was a good shot to be fair. The 1v1 duel against, as you said, Dexter. That's going to be a face-off we're going to see quite often in this matchup. We do have maybe 3 maps potentially, but as it's going at the moment, Raptors look to take eMasters' pick and make it their own pretty much. Just take it away from them, but Inferno, you never know. That map is very defaulted, heavily defaulted by pretty much every team. Almost pretty much every CSGO player knows Inferno, let's be real. So, you know, that's a 50-50 coin toss. That's one of the things that we see a lot in these types of games, in games in general, is that maps that all of these players will know, you will have very similar strats, and you will also be able to shut them down by playing quite a defaulty role, even as a mix. You know?
I mean, it's definitely much more known than something like an Ancient is because it's been in the pool for so long. So there'll be some basic things that people will understand and definitely conceptualize, but there will be a reason why it was picked in as the second map in this series. So we'll get to that when we get to it. For now, however, we're still focusing on Ancient, and Synergy is focusing on getting the opening. The pause taken to no benefit of the eMasters. 2 kills, no trades found by the T side just yet. That bomb is trying to insert himself towards the site, but look at the number of CT players that are here to take the challenge.
Oh, that's a good flash there as well. Now, Moshi does have a lot of control here, but look at they've got nothing from Cave. That means that there's quite a few players here. WFN landing a shot as well. Dexter able to get one of his own. Zodi jumping around the corner and finding the pick onto Dexter's now left Husky. And the 1 versus 4, a very unwinnable situation. And the economy isn't great whatsoever for eMasters. They might just want to maybe save this AK, make sure that they don't give it to one of these Raptors players, because you know how dangerous they can be, especially now we found out that these 1v1 duels are going to go the way of Arctic Raptors. No trades were found, as you mentioned, apart from that one on Synergy, but that was just, you know, that was just Synergy jumping out of cave, getting himself killed pretty much, getting taken down by the AWP, and here you have it. It's still Husky, just trying to maybe find a little bit of something in this round, a little bit of magic, a little bit of anything. I don't think he'll be able to retrieve the bomb. I don't even know if he's going to go for it, but it does look like he will.
He might try his hand at it, but you've got to think about the money state as well for the eMasters. There's not a lot of cash available to them. Husky, if he commits to this and he loses his weapon, then they're going to have absolutely nothing to play with. He'll sit back in cave and not give much contention over to the CT, so they won't hunt him down either because their money is also in a similar state of god-awful. So Husky will just sit here and hope for an exit at this particular point. If he goes down after time, that might be even worse though, so it carries a lot of risk. Fortunately, Zodi's not going to take the face, and neither will Aatrox or Whiffin, so it will be a 5th round for the Arctic Raptors. Actually, okay. Oh. Husky getting away pretty lucky there because Zodi did not go ahead and check that cable all the way. So, yeah, 1 AK saved in. It might be justifiable for a force buy here for the eMasters. They might have to think about it for a minute, but no, they're going in.
Yeah, they are. And that could have been very risky, as you said yourself. Husky been a very standout player for eMasters during this tournament, during this event, and that, oh Jesus, a very risky play. He's just very, very lucky that Zodi didn't actually check cave too deep, or else he could have lost his weapon, lost all of his money. You can see he's got 0 now. He had 0 before. That would have been the same story all over again if he had lost that gun. And Aatrox just, you know, throwing a bit of utility and coming all the way back to Donut here. You don't want to lose too much. You don't have a very good economy the similar way of eMasters. It's 5-1 on the board to Arctic Raptors. They are taking it as much as they can. They're trying to push them as much as they can. CT side obviously favoured, which you do expect from a team, any team like this, that they can play these maps, they can play these CT defaults, and they are able to take Storm when they play the CT side. The Molotov going out, trying to force out anyone that may be playing close, but there is nobody there, and it's just Zodi waiting for any bit of contact to get some utility down. Mr. Hoy and Emmy with a weapon that maybe isn't too favoured. That's a brilliant flash though, and Zodi's going to have to back out of there as much as possible and regain this space with Synergy. We've seen this so many times before, but not with this extra man. The extra man who will be ducking, and Dexter finds the first contact, makes that 2. No trade coming in from Arctic Raptors as of yet, but then Zodi able to shut down the rampage of Dexter with that AK in hand. The force buy is good so far. Man advantage going the way of eMasters. It's one player, Zodi, with 19 HP, left to fend for himself as the rest of the eMasters side look to maybe finish on this bomb site. And it's not even like Raptors players are phased by it whatsoever. They just lost 2 of their men. It's one man left on the site with practically no HP. 1 HE will finish the job, but it looks like no HE will come through. Zodi good for 1, almost grabbing the second. Moshi, sorry, left on 12 HP, and it's WFN. Aatrox left in a similar situation as Husky was just 1 round ago. Well, not too similar, but similar enough if from an economy standpoint. And there you are, Husky taking down another in a similar part of this round, and it will be WFN just taking that save again, making sure he doesn't lose the big green. Doesn't want it in Dexter's hands whatsoever, especially with what he can do, what damage he has caused already. Even in the 1 round he had the big green, and there you go, that is a save. That is a round on the board for eMasters. 5-2 now as the regain of, B main control. A main control, there you go. That's a brilliant shot there from WFN, and they're losing money by the second.
To keep the economy hurt going is certainly going to be an objective in these exit rounds. Is what Husky tried to do with the AK in the previous, and now Arctic, similar story with that AWP. It stays in for them, but you can see how without it, Whiffin would have had absolutely nothing. $1,500 left in the bank for him. Double eco status for the man. I imagine there may be potential of a half invest or a rebuy around this. They are going to go for the full-on rebuy because, again, the loss bonus is a little bit awkward, and opting not to go ahead and bolster their savings. So M4's SMG on 2. The Deagle out for Synergy here. Meanwhile, eMasters also having a couple of limitations. Mr. Hoy on the MAC-10, Emmy and Dexter on Galil's between the 2 players. No AWP save for the T side. And they're going in pretty quick towards this B site hit as well. Moshi's already got Whiffin. That's a fantastic opening. But can they get any more out of this? They're looking to get a bit more presence out towards this long control. That smoke bouncing off the wall gives a big gap, and the bomb can go down safely. It's no safe for Synergy, though. Mr. Hoy traded back by Dexter. 4-on-3 now for eMasters.
4-on-3, and the cave control is good, but it's not going to be too great in this retake standpoint. Of course, the full reinvestment is not going to go to plan, and as a matter of fact, that will be an AWP picked up after that. You see Zodi going for these cave plays quite a lot. You see him running free, maybe with a nade in hand. The last time we saw one of these, though, was with the SMG, the MP9. You can always trust that weapon, and he was able to get a frag right at the start of that round. But now it's going to be yet another save for Arctic Raptors. Don't want to lose too much. Their economy isn't great. Their bank is practically busted, and there you go. That's the round over and done with eMasters picking up their 3rd, whilst Raptors stand still on their 5th.
Starting to grind back on this T side, and a lot of their T side successes were down to the early starts that they had gained above their opposition. Has not been the case in this matchup. However, if they keep it going, it doesn't leave the worst situation in the world, especially with, as you mentioned, the economy being crippled for the Arctic Raptors. There won't be a buy-in for Synergy and Whiffin. These 3 saved guns will be all they have to work with here. Yep,
no utility either. Absolutely none, which is something that we don't see very often, especially with SMGs. I mean, they've prioritised weapons, and that's probably why, actually, they prioritise the weapons over the utility, because they can just go ahead and pick up maybe a Molotov from the dead body of Emmy and Husky after both of them have been taken down by 2 different players. Oh, that control was brilliant there. You see Mr. Hoy in this situation, in this spot, once again, not being forced out by Zodi this time, but might have to regain the control after Moshi gets the rotating. Synergy just posted up inside of house, and it will be him just going up towards mid, grabbing as much space as he can. Ducky posted up in that donut position. This is going to be a duel that they're going to take. This is going to be a risk that Moshi's willing to sacrifice. And it all depends if he just cross that place. It's good. The timing isn't for him, but it doesn't matter. He's head on the swivel straight away. Just Ducky out of the round, and that will be pretty much eMasters grabbing that bomb site. And bomb will start to go down. The synergy comes up behind, and the timing once again isn't great for Dexter this time. But the damage still isn't enough to take his life away. But the force out from Zodi. Oh my God, what a round there! How have they pulled that back?
By eMasters being a little bit too complacent, honestly. Backs turned and everything towards that donut position. The damage that was done by the USB compounded when the rest of the CTs forced onto the bomb site. eMasters were not ready for that. Losing the opening pick definitely didn't help things. Wow. And although it felt like there were going to be trades back into the A site itself, that didn't quite come together in the same fashion that was hoped of the eMasters side. So Arctic Raptors back up 3 rounds in the lead above the eMasters, and well, the rebuy will return from the T side as you would expect, trying to make their way quickly into the A play. Ducky is standing by to receive that M4, backed up by one man at Donut. It's just a dry walk out. Good line up for that M4. Damage done. Kills on 2. Dexter and Emmy with a couple of decent trades. Atrox is forced back behind the smoke. There's a gap there, though. Could find a man indeed. Mr. Hoy's tagged, but Emmy and Dexter, 2 more kills on those 2 players. Zodi suddenly in a 1-on-3. Dead to Dexter with a triple. And eMasters bounce back and answer back in an instant.
2 rounds in a row, we've seen 2 teams who practically are forced by, a full rebuy. They've both bounced back from that, despite having a very low level of utility in the round prior to the round that's just gone. Raptors still able to obviously take that one in their stride, but eMasters just going straight back, bouncing right back. Absolutely nothing in it from them. They maybe left a couple of open spots in a couple of open gaps, but the trades absolutely brilliant. The way they were able to take that round, in my opinion, I did not expect that whatsoever. WFN now posted up once again with a big green in his hand. We've seen how dangerous this man can be with them so far in this match. Maybe not in the entire event, but he's been doing a lot better now. Zodi trying to gain some control, getting the wall bangs in. We see these quite often on this map as this situation right here. It's all wall bangable, it's one of those things where you can find bit of damage, bit of free damage, bit of free kill, And Zodi just very, very close, and they are going to try to maybe regain this control. He swings out, nothing there as of now. The Molotov putting off any rotations that may be in place and not able to get the one, but Moshi down to 2 HP. Of course, you're going to know that he's probably low. WFN still posted up here. The bomb is yet to be grabbed. They do have a minute left on the clock, though, so there's no rush for that. They do have a lot of control as well in towards Cave. Mr. Hoy, we see him here all the time, hand in hand with his teammate Moshi. The weapons aren't too great for Raptors, neither is the utility. Only the 2 smokes left, whereas the utility, as you can see from eMasters, is pretty good. Moshi still with a full belt. Dexter with almost a full belt, just 2 flashes. And there you go, they're going to peek into the crosshair of WFM, but it's not going to be good, not going to hit the shot right there, as Aatrox actually looks to go a bit crazy and get through a mid-push and take out 2. Moshi's still on that 2 HP, still very dangerous for him, as Mr. Hoy looks to get aggressive. WFM with another shot, missed, and Moshi taken out of the game by Synergy. Synergy completely traded out. It's now a 2 versus 2. Aatrox, WFN, going to look to get something, but that something isn't great. An AK saved, and that will be that. That will be all that she wrote for that round. 6-5, eMasters pulling it back. And that is a brilliant push from eMasters. The way they gained space there, the way they played post-plant, even the trades going in. Mr. Hoy had to make some sort of a hero play, and the hero play is what he made, and it worked ever so well, and that's another round on the board.
That it is. Very nicely played. And Arctic Raptors, I mean, there's no savings. They put everything into this last round, the buyback and all, second stage loss bonus. So that AK being the only thing for Aatrox at this moment. And there won't be anything else brought around him. Maybe he'll drop off an upgrade pistol to somebody that might need one, but it won't be anything major, possibly a P250 at best. That's going to be about all they're going to have in this one, and even that won't even be brought in by the Arctic Raptors. It makes a lot of sense. eMasters should be able to get to 6 apiece. The money will compound to a buyback in the next one for the Arctic Raptors. So see what Atrox can do with this AK. Post him out towards the solo A defensive. 4 players, USB stacked over towards B. Molotov the way initially by Emmy, who's going to get a little bit of information. The CT is just happy to fall back out of position, try and play the best defense they can, but the firepower differential is going to be too staunch for the eMasters.
Yeah, man, you see there, 4-man push into Cave, making sure Mr. Hoy gets blocked off in this position, but as a matter of fact, it won't even be him entering this. 2 players stacked on top of each other. on two different sides, and it's Mr. Hoy who will be clearing it, and this is going to be, oh, that's not good, that's not what you want to see at all. Mr. Hoy grabbing 3, not a 4th, as Emmy manages to rob that one right out of place, and Aatrox, once again, 1v5 situation, very unwinnable round. He's going to have to just save this weapon and keep it, make sure he gets it into the next round. 6-6 for both teams, and it's pretty much a 50-50 at the moment. Before that, it looked like it was going Arctic Raptors' way, but now it looks like they're on the hunt as well. Don't even want him to save the weapon.
Yeah, this is the best call to make right now for the eMasters, because you've got 5 players alive. You can sacrifice maybe a couple of bodies to get this AK out of play. It's a pretty significant weapon to remove from the CT side, because the one-shot headshot potential makes all the difference in the world for the CT basis. The Molotov's come back, the smokes are in. Aatrox can reveal himself. 2 players, Peaky down at 9 points of health. Got to run for the hills into main, where even Mr. Hoy is going to try and flank him. So really there is no way out for the man. Back in that corner, Mr. Hoy doesn't manage to kill. All right, that's not bad for Aatrox. Surprised he got away with that one.
Yeah, me too. I mean, that Molotov was absolutely perfect there from eMasters, forcing him out of the position that, you know, he could play anywhere on that A site. He could play CT, he could play Temple, he can even play main if he really wanted to, but they Molotov that one position. It forces him out, and it gets tagged down. 9 HP, miraculously survives and gets out the fight. Mr. Hoy waiting for him in that position. He should have really taken him out. There will be a pause here as well, as Raptors look to potentially maybe get something out of it, reset their mentals, make sure that they can maybe hold off these pushes. Mr. Hoy's been so aggressive and so amazing with his entries. Like, they can't shut him down. He goes into cave a lot of the time. He goes up into main a lot of the time. Gets onto the site practically for free every time they go onto that B site. And I think that's kind of detrimental against this Arctic Raptors defense, especially with the way that they take a bit of cave control, fall off the cave control, and then go back to retake mid main. And there you go. They're talking about mid. That's a team kill.
Yep. Very clearly, Moshi's got in the way of the spray of Emmy. So 1 for 1. 1 for 1 trade. I mean, it's more like a 2 for -1 sort of trade. You get my point.
Yeah,
it's a 4-on-4, and thanks to the damage done by Arctic Raptors, or particularly by Aatrox in that particular exchange, it looks like they've got an advantage and quite a massive HP bar differential between Emmy, Mr. Hoy, and everybody on the CT side. So yeah, even though it is a good opening start, it's not great on the follow-ups. Now there's 2 easy trades for Arctic Raptors here.
Yeah, very easy trades. I mean, if you look at the HP, as you've mentioned, it's not great. Emmy's now going to be switching to that AWP with Dexter. You talk about the versatility before this game as well. You know that any of these players from eMasters can pick up any weapon they want to. Pretty much always frag out with it, and I think that's what we're going to be seeing here. Synergy, once again, should be posted up really, really close. Emmy has been spotted out. That AWP will go down, maybe back into Dexter's hands, but I highly doubt it due to the fact they need to execute this site. 40 seconds remaining. There is maybe a little bit enough time just to get that rotation in, but as the clock starts to wind down, it doesn't look like that would be an option that is available to them. 30 seconds left now as they start to edge their way closer and closer. Zodi posted up inside this cave, just waiting for the aggression of Husky, and Synergy swinging out. Husky also finding the pick onto Zodi, which perfect timing for the fights to come in. Ducky is able to trade one out of his own and swing from there. He is going to spot out Husky, and they are going to smoke him off and isolate Mr. Hoy onto the side for the 1v1s. The 1v1s aren't great against him, and now 2v1 situation. Husky versus 2 of the Arctic Raptors players. With the AWP in hand, that means one of them could just be posted up here waiting for the push out while the other one starts to maybe defuse. The wallbang's coming in. Oh my god, 5 HP. The Molotov lands practically perfectly. The wallbang's going to have to come in even more. WFN just going to be sticking it and sticking it. He will get in the defuse, and even the wallbang is great from Ducky, as he's managed to pretty much save Arctic Raptors that round and save him it and give it to them. 7-6 on the board. The economy great though for eMasters, and it won't be much of a problem for them to rebuy up this round.
Husky is going to be mad that his magazine didn't hold more ammo there, because he had that lineup perfect on the wallbang spray and then had to reload because he didn't have any bullets in the magazine left. So issues to compound for the eMasters. Yes, as you mentioned, they will be able to buy, but it's Arctic back in the lead and trying to see if they can take the half here on round 14.
Ooh, this
Money
is a different push.
A little bit wrecked on the CT forces, so it could be a chance for the eMasters to try and get the counter reset and swing the round towards their favour. You're right about to push forward the CT forces in from the window, but they don't catch Mr. Hoy. The information not gained until he fired away. They force forward and straight into Zodi's head, taken clean off.
Wow, I mean, we hadn't seen that push yet from Arctic Raptors, and it was a brilliant push. Fine, and Synergy. Oh, he's got to start being aggressive there. The MP9, they're going to be running to close duel. You know, it's a pretty much a 50-50. But Mr. Hoy always going to come out on top of there. He's been one of their standout players this entire tournament, this entire event. You can't just challenge him to a 1v1 like that. He will win most of the time. And Moshi as well, getting another pick onto Aatrox. And it will just be a 2 versus 5. This is pretty light work, obviously. Looks like they're going to have to go for a save, though. Definitely. I mean, it's definitely the right choice to make. As Ducky's very aware of the flank that is coming into play. That will be Husky. Just fired up, not ready for the fight to commence though. And WFN getting this angle ready, holding it. Will they go for the hunts? Will they try and take the weapons out of the hands? And the hunt may actually come in. WFN spotting it out, and it will be Emmy pushing through Donut. Not sorry, pushing through Donut. Not succeeding with it. Not succeeding with trying to take the hunt, and that's enough losses for eMasters there. They're now just going to save their weapons. Unless...
No, this is a safe call. There's no retake involved in this. They're so far away. There's Mr. Hoy hunting and trying to look for these players back towards the main entrance. But you have to, again, you have to be considerate of the money for the eMasters side. So he's not going to overextend. He's not going to try and push into main directly. eMasters, of course, have the round itself. And, I mean, the damage has already been done to the Raptors here. Even with these 2 rifles, the reinvestment's going to be a little bit awkward. Whiffin can drop a weapon, so there's the M4 coming in. Ducky's a little bit short of the marker, though. Synergy, $1,500. SMG's passed off towards those 2 players. So, yeah, not a great buy to close the half for the Arctic Raptors side. eMasters have done a lot of great work over the course of this T side. And they'll look to try and take the half, man. They're in the best position possible to do it. Mr. Hoy again inserting all the way in towards Donut. No one from the Raptors to contest him or his teammates.
Yeah, no one at all. I mean, we see quite a lot of the main default for Arctic's Raptors. They throw a Molotov right in front to stop the push. They throw it a little bit deeper to make sure nobody can actually 100% push that. But now they've switched it up quite a lot. They do have a site for literally free as Moshi walks out with Mr. Hoy right by his side, making sure they're clearing everything, making sure everything's been checked. But you do see... on a very fast flank, they are going to actually stack up towards this B bomb side, but it's the wrong call as they get ready to flank it, but no need to flank anymore. They know where the bomb's gone down, and it's now Q for Emmy to start a flank of his own, and look at this, the back turn for Synergy. He's not quite ready for this, and ready he definitely is, and there's Moshi, Emmy, and Mr. Hoy, opening the scoring in this round, and wow, it's pretty much impossible. WFN, maybe. No, the timing is bad. That is it. That is practically the round over and done with. Smoking up the bomb. Doesn't even matter. You'll just get shot straight through those smokes. They don't even exist in eMasters' eyes. And this is the half. eMasters coming out on top on their map pick despite the advantageous CT side. And WFN just looking to boost his KD up just a little bit. And that is the half over and done with.
Yeah, 8-7 eMasters, not quite the dominant affair we saw from them against Coalesce in the upper bracket match, but it's still an advantage on the T half for them, and that was enough to get them past the finish line in the previous semi-final game. Again, CT sides are typically where you look to find the most amount of success in a map on a map like an Ancient here, so the question on everyone's minds is, have they done enough for the eMasters side? Pistols brought in for the second half, the Glocks out, the USPs are in. I don't see any upgrades over on the T side. The Fuse get over on Husky with a smoke down, so standard Ninja sets up the full set onto Zodi and slow walks into the Arctic side out towards Cave, looking in from Cheetah. 4 players to meet them on the B side.
4 players to meet them. That's going to be a very difficult place to be. And already that Molotov's great there from Zoe. WFN finding the opening pick of this second half as Synergy clears the angle where WFN was in that previous half on the first ever round. And it's looking to go the way of Arctic Raptors. But as I say that, Dexter starts to go nuts and finds the head of Synergy, jumping and bouncing through all of those smokes. It's Husky, Dexter, 1 smoke, a kit. All you could ever ask for on these retake situations. Aatrox, still posted up on the bomb site itself, and smoke will come down now for the retake, and that will be their cue to start getting out onto this site. It will be Cave. Dexter finding his second of this round, maybe a third here as Ducky gets to swing out aggressively. Husky finding one of his own. It's somehow managed to go to a 1v1. And the 1v1 will be lost for eMasters. Jesus, that retake was practically perfect. Pinpoint from Arctic Raptors to get onto the bomb site, making it a 5 versus 2 right at the start until you see Synergy jumping through that smoke, and he just gets shut down immediately from Dexter. And that's that. That just starts off the retake straight away. Dexter going absolutely ham, going crazy. Husky right by his side, finding 2 of his own, but it won't be good enough, and that is a round on the board for Arctic Raptors.
Yeah, pistol taken to even up the standings, and you're right about how down to the wire that one did get. It was pinpoint on the headshots coming in from eMasters on the retake. If only Husky hit the contact out towards the ramp control, then that easily could have been a defuse for them. And around for the eMasters instead. They will try and force the buy here in round 17 anyway, bring those pistols to play, the 5.7s and such, one of which is set on Husky back here towards the back of the A site. Smoke misses, down on HP, his teammate of Emmy now dead. They've taken A site already. At this point, it might already be around done. eMasters might try their hand at this and throw some bodies at this position, try so they can get some damage on, take a rifle away or two, but at the same time, got to think about the eco in the next round. If you save now, you get a lot of upgrades, and yeah, that's what they'll do. Yeah,
100%. I mean, Raptors definitely just going to go ahead and take this round. It's a round you expect to win, really. You've just won pistol, you had the greater bar, you've got the greater utility. You expected to win this round, and here you are. They are going to win this round over. That's 9-8. They're advantageous once again. I've said this before. Arctic Raptors Ancient isn't something to be messed with, but Zodi might get a bit too aggressive. Never mind. It's Mr. Hoy will be shut down instead. Husky right there behind Zodi, not expecting a second, and Ducky maybe want to fight this off. They don't really want them to save, but they also don't want to hunt it and lose all their guns either, because that could just be detrimental to them. WFN not being able to take the head off Husky at the moment. Back 10 will now be saved, and the wall bang going on into absolutely nobody. 9-8 on the board. 4 players alive for Raptors, 3 in the hands of eMasters, and the economy's not great, but it obviously isn't going to be after you've just lost the first and the anti-eco, which will be the second round. The Raptors just going to be buying up all of their utilities. Great for them. This is pretty much, and should realistically be, another round on the board for Arctic Raptors, strengthening the gap and making it 2 rounds for eMasters to try to get back into this one.
Well, they can have a bit more breathing room now to take some risks on the eMasters side because of the fact that they've got these upgrades that they basically brought in for free. They've got the MAC-10, they've got the SMG, the MP9 of Dexter, the Deagle also on Moshi. So they've got a little bit of potential in terms of trying to take aggressive mid-peaks, for instance. What they're going to do, flash their way in, send 3 players up against it, challenge Raptors directly, although they're high back behind their elbow position. So won't really see anything up until now. The crossfire does work out to get a kill, not quite 2. Synergy takes 2 back of his own. Husky trades to a 3-on-3, and he's looking to bracket in these T-side players, challenging down Mr. Hoy. USP on site, Zodi checking the back corner, so that enables kill. Into a 2-on-2, now Ducky maintains control with his own 2 picks, and Emmy is all alone.
Emmy, will he go for this? It looks like he will be. The AK-47 in hand, of course, it's a much stronger weapon than the Galil, which Ducky does have at the moment. However, this smoke is not a barrier for him, but not for Ducky either, as he's fully and well aware of that push, and as a matter of fact, takes down Emmy and shuts down any hope of a retake, any hope of a 9th round for eMasters at that point in time. Now a full buy will come in. Husky, enough for the big green. Will they invest into it? Absolutely not. They will. No, there's just no need for it. Don't want to lose too much money at all M4s. Oh no, there is an AWP. I do lie. I apologise. I did not see the AWP in hand of Dexter, which is going to be a difficult thing for Raptors to shut down. Dexter's been extremely strong. Aatrox doesn't care about any utility going at him, and the Molotov will come in, and Nade going out as well. He's going to have to wait for his team here, as he is on his lonesome. The flash comes out. Mr. Hoy playing the great anti-flash, but he thought about getting aggressive, and now instead he's going to pull it back, and the push isn't going to be pulled back. There was Aatrox finds the opening kill. Moshi left alone and struggling as Synergy finds his one. Mr. Hoy pushing back the smoke, as I mentioned last round. It's not a barrier, but Zodi spotted him, not able to call it out. The bomb has gone down. Zodi, Ducky as well, finding the head of Husky as Dexter is 3v1 with the AWP. And what can you do? Absolutely nothing. The AWP will be saved and will be transferred over shortly into the hands of WFN.
Well, I think Arctic Raptors heard us when they said that eMasters were the favourites in this series, and they want to try and prove us wrong quite drastically. This is starting to get out of control for the eMasters here, especially with another half invest coming in for 3 players. The upgrade pistols being the best that they can afford here. Arctic currently in control by many a margin. Economy starting to really build up. Of course, the 3-round lead that they've got, the weapon advantage here. Aatrox rounds that corner against Emmy, who somehow wins that opening fight. Okay, that's not bad. But the trade is also just as quick, so we're back to even footing.
Even footing, and obviously the weapon advantage is obviously going to go the way of Arctic Raptors. They now know that it's just pistols, and the eMasters can just overextend and extend as much as they want to, try and get some picks, maybe find a weapon or 2 to save and bring into the next round, or maybe even go for it, as we saw Emmy do in that last round there. Not Emmy, sorry. Or is it Emmy? I can't remember anymore. I'm sorry, I've got memory loss or something. Mr. Hoy now. They've actually started to gamble towards the A bomb site, and then it's the wrong call, actually, though, as Arctic Raptors, despite the aggression, they made it decide to go all the way back over towards ramp, and that is where they're going to end up onto this B bomb site, and They're not aware of it just yet. Still 55 seconds left on the clock, though, so they do have a lot of time to think about this, but they won't need to think about this. The smoke starts to go down, rotations are starting to be pulled. Mr. Hoy holding house, Moshi ready for anything. Synergy definitely ready for anything, as he's been taken out and taken down to low HP pretty much every single one of these rounds, and bomb will go down, and eMasters just looking for any luck, any potential. Also going to be saving that AK, which is definitely one they wanted coming into this round. Emi finding a brilliant opening pick, which definitely shouldn't have won that fight, but he won it nonetheless. And Moshi just looking for a bit more value potentially, as well as the two players behind, which will be Dexter and Mr. Hoy, sorry. Maybe looking for a bit more, and a bit more is what they will find indeed. The CZ75, not the greatest gun for in CSGO history whatsoever, but it will find the frag. And it will maybe lead to WFN finding the pick as well. It definitely won't, as he misses the shots. And as a matter of fact, might actually lose his life here. They're getting pinched from all angles. Moshi, oh my god, they've all gone demon mode. Not able to win the round, but they're able to get every single gun. Never mind, they've lost two. But still, very, very, very good save there. Very good exit save. They absolutely hurt Arctic Raptors' economy, and this will allow them also to buy up and buy a stronger bit of utility. You know, the AK-47, the one-tap potential is what you're going to want in these rounds on the CT side.
And again, you take those wins, you take those silver linings
100%.
where you can for the eMasters side. You went in with a half buy, you got all 5 players to fall. You have absolutely wrecked the economy state of Arctic Raptors. And I mean, with a bomb plot, they can still buy back from here, even with a loss bonus. It should still be a respectable money line. But you've got yourself a free rifle in the AK, the M4 that was also saved to Husky, AWP up for Dexter, which could be challenged directly by Whiffin. eMasters, they are in position to counter reset Arctic, but Arctic have got the start. Aatrox in particular, finding Emi out over towards Donut, starting things off on the right foot for them.
Yeah, very, very good, very strong opening pick there. Make that a second opening pick as Zodi just absolutely fragging out today. He doesn't really care about anything. Always going for this cave control. We saw this on CT. We're going to see it on the same on the T side as he looks to maybe find Moshi. He's going to be getting aggressive. There's no need for that really. You want to regain the space. You're already a man down, but now you're 3 men down. Barely any damage being taken. Actually, no damage whatsoever being taken for Arctic Raptors. And as I say that, Dexter finds a pick of his own, and that's one on the board for eMasters in that entire round. They may just want to save this, but once again, they have absolutely no money. They're absolutely broke. They're bankrupt. They've got nothing left. Husky got enough money to buy someone maybe, but other than that, Mr. Hoy has a bit of money as well. One of these players are definitely going to go into this next round with just an SMG, maybe a FAMAS, or if they're lucky with their loss bonus, an M4. But that all depends. It all depends. 13 rounds on the board for Arctic Raptors. This is going well for them. It's not their pick, remember that. Their pick is up next. And they're taking eMasters by storm.
If they take Ancient right here, and there's a good chance they can do that, because now just 3 more rounds to go for the Arctic Raptors, this is very much a doable 2-0 for them at this stage. eMasters have really got to take a moment to think about this here, because they are in a very dire spot. The rifle saved in from this round is definitely going to aid them, but this was their chance with the damage that they did in the half buy in previous, their chance to try to cripple the economy state of Arctic Raptors, really have to force them to think about any further buys in that round 21, and instead stand here with another rifle set up. Of course, the double orbs are coming in for the eMasters because they need to try something different. It's on Mr. Hoy over on the CT side, and he'll be taking this over towards the A play with Dexter, of course, out in Donut standard. Very fast hit seems to come through from the T side though. Zodi going to lead that charge straight up and in. Mr. Hoy catches that AWP pick and the bombers get dropped for it. He gets another kill alongside Ducky. Synergy found one trade on Moshi, so it is going to be a 4-on-3, but he still favours the eMasters. Mr. Hoy is hunting for more, but runs into Aatrox, who evens up the score.
Evening up the score indeed, and look at that. I mean, it's not the greatest round to buy 2 orbs, but obviously Mr. Hoy making amends of that situation, but look at the rotations now. This could be absolutely huge. They're kind of ready though. They are going to start the rotation of their own. Now the double orbs after, no, it's a very fast push. Let's be real. That fast push could have caught out anybody, and it did catch out Moshi. Barely caught out Mr. Hoy, but it was Aatrox who will be the saviour of that round. The WFM with the AWP on his own. We've seen the 2 AWPers so far. Mr. Hoy, oh my God, synergy.
I love this.
Yes.
He was first man into the B site, and now he's going to close out the pincers against the CT forces. Emi will be heard, faced upon, seen. Synergy leading closer. Tap to the back of the head. Dexter, now all that remains. He picks it up to a 1v1. Actually, this is still on here, but he's gone no kit. He does have a smoke in this one. Lean out towards Donut. Is he going to be ready for this?
Oh,
no, he's not.
Synergy.
Slow walks in. The AK spray gets him with a 3K. And that is 14-8 for Arctic Raptors.
That was so smart from Synergy, can I just mention that? Oh my god, first the lurk and then the reposition straight after the lurk so the Dex doesn't know where you are. You could see how confused he was. He's just holding the angle on CT. He has no idea where Synergy's gone. And look at that, you've ended up dead at the end of the round. He shot you in the back. What can you do about that? That is a situation. And now, there's practically no money in it for eMasters. Arctic Raptors 2 rounds away from winning out this map that isn't even their pick. And it's a lot of mid-aggression here from Emmy. Oh my god, WFM, we spoke about his AWP shots. He's actually turned it up here. He's changed. And so Synergy also getting on the scoreboard too. Falling, but Aatrox's going to be going down shortly as well as Emmy and Husky taking down the mid-control. Synergy tapped down to very low HP and Emmy's going to find that pick. And now the last two players pretty much well-known. Ducky knows where they are. He's going to go for a bit of aggression here, a bit of a pre-fire. He's seen the head of Husky. And it is 2 rifles. It's Emmy and Husky. They're saving.
They're out of there. They have no choice in the matter. eMasters, they trying their best to hold on to whatever they can, those trade games in mid in particular. But the 2v3 ultimately with the bomb down and everything, like there's just nothing you can do about this. Unfortunately, it does mean you're going to map point for Arctic Raptors. And again, on eMasters, his own map pick with a doable chance to take this 2-0 at this stage now for Arctic. One more round to do it on at least the first step. And there is an argument to make whether or not you back yourself in this kind of scenario because of the deficit you're going to have to bring back into overtime now for the eMasters side. But just again, you think about the state of the 2v3, how little you had. You had that kit in play at least, and there was money here, so they could have gone for the buy-up anyway. I don't blame them for backing off in this particular instance, though. eMasters 7 rounds to make up in a row against the Arctic Raptors. Only one for the T side to take map 1 of Ancients. It's going to be a battle from this moment onwards for the CT side. 7
chances for Arctic Raptors to close up this map. That is huge, and already eMasters taking a whole different stride of it and finding the opening pick against Synergy, who's been extremely unlucky and yet lucky at different times in these circumstances where he sat towards his cave position. However, the man advantage is going to go towards eMasters, and no damage being done there from Synergy. No tags whatsoever. WFN just getting closer and closer. The timing of the Molotov pull-out is not going to be great. The nade goes through and Aatrox falls. Husky picking up one of his own, and look at the control they're grabbing. To be fair, WFN has found a very nice pick. They're up in house, and now towards Donut trying to maybe take Husky down. 26 HP remaining for him. He doesn't want to try and fight this. It knows it's an AWP, and WFN has been very sharp on his shots today. Well, on this ancient map, that is. They are actually going to go for this A1 side. Ducky's going to be the first to swing out, and he's going to find that pick, which you do expect from him there. And smoke goes out, but it's okay because Ducky doesn't care. He's run straight through it, and he has found Emmy. It's now 3 versus 2, a winnable situation for both teams. Mr. Hoy going for a hero play, and it's worked out perfectly. Mr. Hoy finding 2, leaving WFN alone. With this AWP in hand, he is going to find a bit of aggression, but the aggression will not be great as Moshi shuts that down as well. And there, eMasters, 6 rounds to go.
Well, you called it hero play. That's exactly what it was for Mr. Hoy. 3 kills in that round, and of course, the most impactful ones came on the center of that A site, denying the plant, denying the advantage for Arctic Raptors, and just disallowing anything in that post-plant position. Perfect placement from the eMasters there, and the kind of round that you really need. Again, as you mentioned, 1 out of their 7 chances. The Arctic Raptors, 6 more to close into the overtime. It's still a long way back from here, and they might need some more confidence on their board, but for now, they found their start. Smokes are being sent out towards that K position, the cheater entrance in particular, and the eMasters will try and back off for it, as will Arctic Raptors regroup and go for the execution into the B sites.
Yeah, execution has now started up, but there is an AWP posted up on Dexter. Dexter does actually find one eventually. Ducky, though, he's going ham, he's going absolutely crazy. Found 2 picks in that round alone. Mr. Hoy and Dexter both can be falling. Mr. Hoy kind of unlucky in his positioning. Maybe he is going to be posted up onto that side, but then again, you've got to play somebody there, and it will be Mr. Hoy, as he has played an absolutely fantastic game today. Moshi still has all of this cave control, which will allow a few players maybe to rotate with him. It won't be Moshi, though. Sorry, it won't be Husky. It will be Emmy, who's going to be coming in and trying to help his team out. Instead of going for the cave approach, he is going to be going for the ramp approach. And is Zodi aware of this? He's definitely watching it. He's definitely ready for it. But the timing's bad. It's definitely awful for him as Emmy. Oh my god, Ducky. For the ace, it doesn't even matter. He doesn't need to ace because Aatrox is still there with him. And that's 69. eMasters losing on their own pick. What?
Well, I mean, we talked about T-side beneficiaries, and in this particular case, that is exactly what they were able to receive on the Arctic Raptors side, not on eMasters. Their own pick falling out of favour, and suddenly 2-0 is on the table, mate.
That's crazy. That is actually crazy. I mean, I knew Arctic Raptors had a very strong Asian side, but I thought eMasters was smacking that. We both thought that. We said that right at the start.
Oh, look, it was a back-and-forth game from the
100%.
opening half, right? It was only until we got to the T side where Arctic Raptors started to really run away with things, and then you could really tell that the end was nigh in that sort of sense. And again, eMasters, their map pick, fallen out. Now it's on to Inferno, which, yes, might be a bit of familiar territory for every team involved in this, but it is still the pick of the Arctic Raptors side on for the 2-0 in the lower bracket constellation match. So as we head towards a short break, we'll come back and see whether they can pull it back from the brink here on the eMasters side here at EPIC38.